Hi guys, welcome to all of you in our YouTube channel Gurmantra Shiksha Ka Granth, and I'm your educator Saranya, and today we are going to deal a very important topic, G protein linked receptors or G protein coupled receptors, which is a type of cell surface receptor. In the previous session we saw some of the basic concepts of cell signaling, and from this class onwards we'll be seeing the detailed concepts of different receptors, and we are going to start it with G protein coupled receptors. Okay, so what is a G protein coupled receptor or a GPCR? So they are nothing but 7 transmembrane alpha helices. So 7 transmembrane. What is the meaning of transmembrane? It means that it is passing through the membrane 7 times. You can see in this diagram that the transmembrane is passing through the membrane 7 times, and it is nothing but a alpha helix. You know what is a helix? It is a secondary structure of a protein. So it's an alpha helix structure. You can see here 7 transmembrane alpha helix, and this is a kind of receptor that represents the largest family of membrane proteins present in eukaryotes. So these are present exclusively in eukaryotes. It is also called as serpentine receptors. It looks like a snake, right? It looks like a snake with 7 transmembrane alpha helices. So this is also called as a serpentine receptor. GPCR comprises a single polypeptide that is folded and retained in the plasma membrane. They are activated through extracellular signals in the form of mediators or ligand. Simple words, it's a single polypeptide. You can see this is a single polypeptide, but it is convoluted or folded so many different times in the plasma membrane, and this will be activated when you get a signal or a ligand that will bind to its receptor. Okay, this is the receptor region to which your ligand will come and bind. Okay, to which your ligand will come and bind, and this receptor, which is 7 transmembrane alpha helix or a serpentine receptor, will get activated. Okay, so such signals inform the cell about the life sustaining nutrients present or absent in the cell environment. This external signal or the ligand, what it happens is when this ligand binds to the receptor, there will be some kind of conformational change taking place in the receptor. Okay, there will be some kind of conformational change will happen in the receptor that will activate the G protein, which will be attached to this G protein coupled receptor to GPCR. To this receptor, G protein will be attached to it. Okay, when a ligand binds to the receptor, the conformation change of the receptor will happen that will activate the G protein here. And you can see the structure of G protein coupled receptor here. The amino terminal is extracellular in nature, and the carboxy terminal is cytosolic, and this is a membrane spanning. Okay, this is a membrane spanning or transmembrane. 7 alpha helices will be present in the plasma membrane. Okay, so this is the general information of G protein coupled receptor. So next we are going to understand what is G protein. So G protein is also known as guanine nucleotide binding protein. Okay, because this is a protein that will bind to guanine nucleotide, that can be GTP or GDP. Okay, so this protein will bind to GDP or GTP. That's why its name comes from like guanine nucleotide binding protein. So it is a family of protein that acts like a molecular switch. Molecular switch means there will be on and off inside the cell. Okay, and are involved in transmitting signals from a variety of stimuli outside the cell to its interior. Okay, G protein is a heterotrimer. So let's break the word to understand the meaning of heterotrimer. Hetero means different, trimer means three. So it will have three subunits. G protein will have three subunits, and all of which are different from each other. Okay, so this is called as G alpha, beta and gamma. G is the protein, and they have three subunits. One is alpha subunit, to which your nucleotide will come and bind. That is, It can either bind to GDP or it can bind to GTP. Okay. The second is beta subunit and the third one is gamma subunit. All of these different subunits are together. That's why we call it as a heterotrimer. Okay. So what happens is in an inactive state when there is no ligand at all. So in the inactive state, this G alpha, okay, so this G alpha will have GDP bound to it. So in the inactive state, when there is no ligand present, G alpha will be bound to GDP. Okay, but when there is a ligand, okay, that binds to your GPCR, there will be some kind of change in the allosteric change in the receptor that will cause G alpha to lose its GDP and it is replaced by GTP. Okay, so G alpha is activated. G alpha is a part of G protein that will be activated. When G alpha is activated, GDP is replaced by GTP. Okay, so this GTP activated G alpha is there, right? So this will be dissociating from beta and gamma subunit. Okay, in inactive say even in the inactive state, G alpha has GDP. That is bound to alpha, beta, gamma. All of three are bound to each other. But when G alpha is activated by GTP, it dissociates itself from beta and gamma subunit. So beta and gamma subunit will be dissociated and you will only have G alpha. Okay, so this G alpha will be involved in several signaling pathways like activating of enzymes. All of this stuff is done by G alpha, but the G beta and gamma will be in the membrane itself. Okay, so G protein also has GTPase activity. GTPase is an enzyme. What does it do is it will hydrolyze the GTP. It will hydrolyze the GTP. Okay, when GTP is hydrolyzed, it becomes GDP by losing one phosphate molecule. Okay, I hope the G protein concept is clear. You can see here in the picture you have a G protein coupled receptor which is coupled with the G protein. Okay. In the inactive state, G alpha, beta and gamma are bound with each other and G alpha is bound to GDP. Okay. In the inactive state, when there is no ligand present to the receptor. But when a ligand comes and binds to the receptor, this GDP is replaced by the GTP here. GDP will be replaced by the GTP. Okay. After G alpha is activated, it dissociates from the beta and gamma subunit. This dissociates from the beta and gamma subunit. This G alpha is then in a relay of reactions. It will activate several enzymes. For in case of cyclic AMP pathway, this will activate adenylate cyclase, which we are going to discuss in detail in the next session. Okay, but for now you know that the activated G alpha, which is bound to the GTP, will activate enzymes. Okay. So this is the cycle. You can see in a cyclic way this reaction happens. You have inactive G protein which is bound to GDP. Then comes a factor called as guanine nucleotide exchange factor. The name of GEF and its full form is guanine nucleotide exchange factor. Okay, what this factor does is it will replace the GDP with GTP. Okay, this will replace the GDP with GTP and when the G protein is bound to GTP, it will be active. Okay. What happens is your protein cannot be active all the time. It has its limit. When the work is done, it has to become inactive or go to its original state. For that, another enzyme is there that is GAP, that is GTPase activating protein. So GTPase activating protein. What this will do is it will hydrolyze the GTP. When GTP hydrolysis happens, one phosphate is removed and it becomes GDP. I hope you know the difference between GDP and GTP. GDP is nothing but guanine diphosphate. Guanine having two phosphates is called as GDP, and guanine having three phosphates is called as GTP. Okay. So one phosphate, when it is removed by the gap, okay, GTP is activating protein, then it will become guanine diphosphate, that is GDP. When G protein is bound to GDP, it will be inactive in state. So similarly, this will be occurring like a cycle. So when will it be inactive? When there is no ligand present. Okay. And when will it be active? When a ligand is present and that is bound to your G protein coupled receptor. Okay. Okay. So this is the same concept which I told you now. Here you can see G protein coupled receptor. Okay. You have alpha, beta and gamma subunits of the G protein, and GDP is bound to G alpha, which means it is inactive in state. In order to activate this, you need a factor called as guanine nucleotide exchange factor. This will replace the GDP with GTP. Okay, when GTP is added to G alpha, what happens? It will dissociate from beta and gamma subunits and it will go and activate several enzymes. After the work has been done, this G alpha, from this G alpha, GTP has to be removed. That will be done by GTP activating protein that will hydrolyze the GTP to GDP, and again it will go into the inactive state. Okay, again it will go into the inactive state. So GPCR has receptors 4, which means they are saying what are the ligands, what are the different types of ligands that can bind to your G protein coupled receptor. Neurotransmitters can bind, neuropeptides, peptide hormones, light, smell, taste, adrenaline. All of these ligands can bind to your G protein coupled receptor for its signaling to happen. And I've told you already that these ligands are nothing but messages. They bring messages with them. When they bind to their respective receptor, it is a message for the cell to do some action in response to the ligand. Okay. So there are several types of G protein, and based on that their action also differs. Okay, their action also differs. So basically G protein is in the types like GS, GI, GQ and GT. GS is the G stimulatory, okay, and its receptors are, example I'm giving you here, beta adrenergic receptor, then you have glucagon receptor, then you have histamine receptor. All of these are GS receptor. And signaling pathway, what will it do is it will increase the cyclic AMP and excitatory effect will be present. GI is inhibitory. G inhibitory. It is present in receptor alpha 2 adrenergic receptor, opioid receptor, and the pathway for this is it decreases the cyclic AMP levels and causes the cardiac potassium channel to open, thereby it decreases the heart rate. So I'm just telling you what are the different types of G proteins here with some of the receptors as example and what those receptors are involved in, like what signaling pathway they are involved in. I'm giving you like an example, but in detail about these pathways we will study in the future lessons. Maybe when you're listening to like increase of cyclic AMP or decrease of cyclic AMP, you might not understand what I'm talking about right now. But for now, my intentions is to teach you what are the different types of G protein. Just teaching you G protein is not enough. We should always give it with some kind of an example. That's what I'm doing here. With the receptor and signaling pathway, I'm giving you the example. The signaling pathway we will be dealing in detail in the next few lectures. So no worry not, tension not. Okay. So the next type is GQ. So it is having the receptor vasopressin, H1, alpha and kind of receptors, and it is involved in the signaling pathway of phospholipase C, where you will get IP3 and DAG from the substrate, and this will cause the increase of cytoplasmic calcium levels. Okay, cytoplasmic calcium levels. Next is GT, transducin. Okay, this is involved in our eye cells when the light or the dark is there. What happens in our eye cells? That is rods and cones. That is the process of GT. Okay, and the signaling pathway here is increase of cyclic GMP phosphodiesterase. That decreases the cyclic GMP. Okay, increase of this enzyme decreases the cyclic GMP. So this is the different kind of G proteins available. Some of them are stimulatory, some of them are inhibitory, and some have different functions. Based on them, based on the functions, they can catalyze. There are different types of receptors in which they are present and different signaling pathways based on that. All of these signaling pathways we will definitely deal in the future lessons. So a little bit on detail about G proteins. G alpha, GS alpha, stimulatory type of protein. This will activate the enzyme called as adenylate cyclase. Okay, and for this particular receptor, what are the different ligands? It can be adrenaline, glucagon, luteinizing hormone, parathyroid hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormones. These are the hormones which can bind to your G protein coupled receptor and stimulate and activate the GS alpha. Okay. Next you have GQ alpha. This will activate the phospholipase C and that will give you two secondary messengers. One is IP3, the other one is DAG. Okay. IP3 is inositol triphosphate and DAG is diacylglycerol. Okay, so this protein GQ alpha is receptor for the ligands vasopressin, thyroid stimulating hormone and angiotensin. Okay, so next is GI alpha. GI is inhibitory, which means it will inhibit something. So this will inhibit adenylate cyclase, thereby it lowers the calcium. It lowers the cyclic AMP level. Okay, it will lower the cyclic AMP level, and this receptor has the ligand somatostatin. Okay, next is GT alpha transducin, and this is involved in the light and dark responses in our eye cells like rods and cones. Okay, about this also we will study in detail. Mention not. There are few more things you guys have to know before we enter into the pathway, actual pathway. So what is the primary messenger and what is the secondary messenger? So primary messenger is the ligand. Okay, the ligand which is bringing the signal to the receptor is the primary messenger. And secondary messengers are happening within the cells. Within the cells when the signal is relayed between molecules, one molecule to another molecule, in that area your secondary messengers will be involved. Okay, they carry the messages to the final location, to the final destination. So they are called as secondary messengers. So the primary messenger is the ligand. The secondary messengers are the molecules which are involved in the pathway. Okay. So the definition of the primary messenger is: first, messengers are the extracellular substances that can initiate the intracellular activity. Extracellular substances means ligand that will activate the receptor. Secondary messengers are intracellular signaling molecules that read the signal from the receptor. Okay, that will take the message from the receptor and deliver it to the target. Okay. Next is for primary messenger, you can see they are extracellular and secondary messengers are intracellular. Next the location. Primary messenger is always outside of the cell and secondary messenger inside the cell. Operation: to binding with the receptor. Primary messenger are ligand that will bind to the receptor, and secondary messengers, they will activate several protein kinases. Okay. Example here is hormones, neurotransmitters, local mediators. All of these are example for your primary messenger. And the secondary messenger example is the cyclic AMP system. You can see cyclic GMP. Then you have IP3, you have DAG, calcium ions. All of these are secondary messengers, and we will deal with them in the future lectures. When we study the pathway, we will see what are the primary messengers and what are the secondary messengers involved in the pathway. Okay. So these are some of the examples of secondary messengers. Hydrophobic, it can be DAG, diacylglycerol, or phosphatidyl inositol, and you have hydrophilic, cyclic AMP, cyclic GMP, IP3, calcium ions, gases you have NO, H2S and CO. So these are some of the secondary messengers. You have to know what are the secondary messages, because in questions they might give you like select the secondary messenger from the given below option. So they'll give you four options. You have to choose which one is the secondary messenger. Okay. These questions they do ask in GATE. Okay. So just know what are the secondary messengers. Actually, we don't have to by heart this. This you will definitely get inside your brain when we are talking about the pathways. Pathways is like from one molecule to another molecule, how the message is traveling and how, what like phosphorylation is happening, activating or inactivating, all of these things when we will study. At that time, everything will be registered in your mind. No need to worry at all. Okay. So if you like the course we are learning about the GATE biotechnology, like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel Gurmantra Shiksha Ka Granth. If you have any queries, you can contact us. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Keep revising.